questions on the functions. Just like we have some of the questions here. So our first function is to creating a function to print here. So we have to do just start a basic structure, which is def, and just give a name. Let's say print, and after that we will also pass one argument, not argument, this is parameter, and it will simply print your name. Okay. Now after this, when you execute like let's take name input from user, and after this you print name, and when you run this, and the name after that, there you can see we got our name. You can also add some message like let's say hello function with it. So you can see that we got our name with hello as a great function. Our second question is create a function to add two numbers. So what we have to do is create def start with keyword and give a name to a function, any name. It's like add function. Okay. Now let's take two num1 and num2 because we need to add two numbers. So we are passing two parameters here. And after that, now this time let's return this. Return num1 plus num2. So you can say that it is returning that function, returning that value. So it is a non-void function. Now take user input for n1 equals to its input. Okay, now print add function n1 and 2. Now if you run this, it will ask for n1, 21 and 43. You can see here it added both of them. Now you will also see one more thing. In function I will return num1, but I am passing here is n1. So basically it gets value of n1 from the user input and for n2 for same in the form of integer, and after that this print will execute this function add function, and add function will take these two arguments. Now these two arguments will be executed like this. Let's solve this first. Print add function. So just like we inputted this time 21 and 43, what will happen? Annual will be got 21 and n2 will get 43. Okay, now let's try to solve this. This n1 is 21 and n2 is 43. Now after this, what will happen? Add function will calculate its value. So how does it calculate? At the place of num1, it gets 21. At the place of num2, it gets 43. Now what will happen? It will return this value, the sum of them. So at the place of num1, that's 21, and at the place of num2, get 43. Now to sum them, it returns 64. So after this, if we evaluate this will prints this will print 64 on console or output screen. Okay, so for this two argument system, it will return this value and it get your output on the screen like in this way. Now our next question is find the largest of two numbers using function. Okay, we are finding maximum number of two. Find max. Okay, now it will take two arguments. You can write any keyword, it's like num1 and two, and if num1 is greater than num2, return. So you can see that we got the larger number and it's like where we got 23, but 12 is less than 23, so we got 23 as 23 is maximum of them. Now our next one is find largest of two numbers using function. Okay, this one we have done. Next one is check whether the number is even or not. So for this, we can create one function like is even, let's say, and obviously we are going to check for only one number. So for if, and also we are going to return the boolean value for this because we need to check whether a number is even or not. So it can be between true and false. So if what we can do if number to 2 equals to 0, we will simply return true because it is because if modulo 2 is equals to 0 means remainder is 0, then we are going to return value true. Now after this we will return false. Now here's one more thing which I am going to tell you after this. While in this code, let's take a number n is equals to so now if you run this, here we have random number, let's say for 2 we got true, and let's say for 9 we got false. But now we are going to see the flow of execution. So for the flow of execution, you can say it like this. So our code will first go for line 1 and it will define defines our function for line 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now after this it will goes for line 5. There is nothing, so it just skip that, and then in line 6 it will take n equals to value, some value in integer, and after that we got line 7. So again line 7 is nothing, so it will execute nothing there. Okay, now after this we have print is even of n. Okay, now for this case what will let's take for n equals to let the number input the value 2. Okay, so now n will becomes 2 here. Now after this, when we try to solve this, it will become equivalent to, it's like this, is even 2. Just I replace the value of n from this, nothing else. Okay, now if we try to solve this, what will happen? This is a function, just like print. Now for this, we will need to solve is even. So for is even 2, our code will now jump to line 1. Why? Because function is defined at that place. So our code will go to line 1, and when you compare this after that, is even num with is even 2. What you get in function, now the value of num is equals to 2. Now after this, our code goes to line 2, and now it is checking for a even or not. Basically, num modulo 2. Okay, now if num modulo 2 is equals to 0, what will happen? It will basically, if this line becomes true, just like in this case, we have num modulo 2. So we try to solve this. So 2 modulo 2 is equals to 2. Now if we again try to solve this, it will become 0 equals to 0. So what will happen? It returns you true. It returns true. So this true is different one from this. So what will happen? This is conditional statement of if then else. If a statement which becomes true. Now after this, it goes for line 3 because this condition is true. So what will line 3 execute? Return true. Now here is one more interesting part. Return true not only going to returning true. It's like okay, it's return true, but at the same time it is going to exit the function. It's not like after this it's going to line 4. Okay, so after this our code will directly jump for line 4 and not line 4. Basically, just like we have this line 8. After this, what will come? Line 9. So just like we have nothing on line 9, so that there's nothing. But as you can see, is even is now become true. Now at the place of is even 2, we can write it like true, and this is going to just print. So what will we get? We get console output of true, and after that we have nothing on line 9, so it does nothing. Okay, so now see what's happened if it is case for odd. Okay, so now till yet, now here we have to change it to 9 because now we're going to check for 9. How is it how it will going to execute for 9. Okay, now after this, what will happen? Now it is again n is 9, so we're going to change this to 9. This is also 9, and when it is going to compare with this num, so now num is equals to 9. So for function, now num is equals to 9, and when we try num modulo 2 as num is equals to 9, so now we get 9 modulo 2. Now what will happen? Now consider check for 1 is equals to 0. We got false. Okay, now what will happen if we get false at line 2? If at line 2 we got false, this whole code block is not going to execute. So it basically just directly goes to line 4. So after that it will not go to line 3. It will goes for line 4, and line 4 has condition false. So now is even 9. We are going to return false. So our print is even 9 is going to be like print false and console output of false. So in this way, you can see our code is exited. So our code is exited in two different ways. First, it will exit for line 3, and second it exit for line 4. For line 3, it is exited when our condition becomes true. Just like if this condition becomes true, so what is done? It return true, and return will also exit from the function. Now the same, if this condition is false, it's going to return this false, this statement. This statement is going to be executed at line 4. So return false, and our code is exited from here. So in this way, you can use the return to exit from different line using function. Now our next one is find a factorial using a function. Okay, we can use it with a for, just like find factorial of n. Okay, now it is going to start. Let's say we have to take one temporary variable. Let's say p equals to 1. Now for I in range up to n, not n, we have to go from 1 to n plus 1, because n is also going to exclude by the Python as upper limit for range, as upper limit for range. And after this, what we're going to, we are going to p into equals to I. So what will happen here? It will first go like p equals to 1, and then it will go like p equals to, in the next case, p equals to be like p into equal to I. So what will happen after this? P equals to, p is 1 and I will become 2. So now p is becoming 2. Now let's say go for p equals to 2. After this, what will happen? Let's go with the next line. Okay. Let's check flow of execution here. So what will happen? First p equals to 1 at line 2, and after that for I range will start p equals to, for simplicity I'm going to take like this, p equals to p into I, and p equals to this p is previous value, not the same p. Okay, so what will happen? It will become like 1 into, and right now value of I is 1 because our for loop is started now, just now. So 1 into 1. After that I equals to 2. It is again going to execute p equals to p into I. I will solve this, and we can see that it becomes 1. Now value of p is equals to 1 into 2. Now after that it becomes like p equals to 2. Okay. Now after that I equals to 3. P equals to p into I. Now p will equals to like 1 into, it's like value of p. Okay, now it's not 1. Here you can see it is now become 2. So now p equals to 2, and I will becomes 3. So it is going to be equals to 6. So in this way, it's going to execute for a whole. Now there is one more thing. There are two more cases. Like for factorial, for n equals to 0, factorial is 1. So what we are going to do for this? If n is equals to 0, we will simply return 1. So it maintains our code, and that's it. And one more thing. After completing this loop, we are going to return p. And okay, let's run this. First complete it. Return p, and let's say for if n is equals to 0, return 1. So what will happen if n is equals to 0? It directly going to execute this code and return 1. So it get 1, and also at the same time function will going to exit it after that, because return will also exit the function at the same time. Okay, now let's run this. Find the factorial of any number, let's say for 2, and you need to print this because it is returning value. Returning value is not going to be printed on your console. If you want to print them on a console or terminal or wherever screen you have to use print if it is returning value. So for non-void function, we have to use print, and for void function, It depends on how the function is. If it has print and does not need to print that. So let's exclude this. So you can see that we got factorial because factorial of 2 is 2. Let's check for 5. It should be 120. So you can see that factorial of 5 is 120. Now let's check for 0. You can see we got 0. For 0 we got 1. And also for 1 we are getting 1. And for 2 we have got 2. So in this way we can create a factorial program. Our next one code is find the square of number. This is simple one which we have done earlier many times. Find the square of x and return x multiplied by itself. So this is simple square function. Okay. Now next one is find the q of numbers. The same way you have to instead of that just return x to the raised to power 3. So in this way you are going to do that. For that, for square we are going to use x double star 2. For cube we are going to x double star 3. Now after this we have to return area of circle. So for returning area of circle we are defining area. So for circle we have only one thing which is radius. Okay. Now for radius we can do it like this and return pi. For here let's say pi is 22 upon 7 into r and into r because it is pi r square. Now I have to print area of radius 1 of radius 10. So it should be around the multiple of 100 of each because r is squared here. So here you can see that it is 3.142857 and it is 314.28. So this is 100 times multiple and area we got area for the circle. Okay, now next one is returning the maximum of three numbers. Okay, for this you have to do it like def find max a comma b comma c. If a is greater than b and our next condition can be else if a is less than b. Okay, so for if a is greater than b, what we're going to check if a is greater. So we need to greater one. We are going to check if a is greater than c after this. Then we are going to return a because it confirms that a is greater. Else, what happens? Else c is greater because we got from a and b because we got from a and b. B1 is b is smaller and a is greater. And after checking from a and c, if a is greater, then this is going to return a. Else, it is going to return c. Same way, we are going to just same thing here. But instead of A, we are going to check for B. Okay, now let's print find the underscore max of the 1, 2, 3. It should return 3 from this. So you can see it returns 3. So in this way, you can create a function for returning maximum value of 3 numbers. Printing a multiplication table, we have already done this in a function lecture, previous function lecture. And then after that, we have created a greeting function. We have already done this. And these are simple ones. You can do it by yourself. So these are normal functions. You can try it by yourself. You can try this one. Just converting Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius. So let's make a function here convert. We are going to accept as we need to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. So what we can do, we have to accept at C as Celsius, and let's say Fahrenheit will be. So formula for Fahrenheit and Celsius is like this. It is like it is F minus 32 into 9 by 5 equals to, say, now if we try to convert that for F, so we can write it like C into 5 by 9, and then we can simply plus 32. So yeah, that's it. Now if we print the, okay, we also need to return this. I forgot to return that, so returning F. Now after that we are going to print conversion, convert. Let's go for minus 40. That's why it's not correct. It is 9 by 5. So yeah, this formula is incorrect. So it should be 5 because at minus 40, at minus 40 degrees Celsius, we also have minus 40 degree Fahrenheit. So in this way, you can also verify that. Okay, now let's check for 100. Okay, let's check for 100. For 100, we got to 12. So in this way, you can use a conversion program for this.